So I guess I can't go to him with my needs. Do I go to somebody else? Do I work on it myself?
I really highly doubt a lot of people really know what that actually
And so they're
means.
silently suffering alone without the support that they need.
Holding space is more of a trauma
Do we
response.
leave the person? Do we ask for what we need? What do we do?
Well, nobody hears me or sees me, so let me hear them and see them in hopes that they can learn how to see me and hear me.
Welcome, welcome. We are so excited to be here today. And for all of you that are listening to us today with me and Rain on our Expand podcast together, I'm really excited about the topic today. This is one that is near and dear to me, that has just been a big part of my life, and I am fine tuning it. And we're just going to dive in. Today, we're going to start talking about and start the conversation with holding space and what really that looks like. So, for me personally, I grew up in a home where I didn't feel like there was a lot of space for me. It didn't feel safe to take up space. And so that's something I've been carrying with me my entire life. And that it just means a lot to me. So I work really hard to hold space for people and to be a safe space holder because I know how important it is. And we all deserve a safe space to be who we are and be authentic to who we are. And the truth is, we've got to feel safe with ourselves and those around us if we truly want to do our healing work and dive into that. You're not going to be able to do any healing and open up to that, which a lot of us are wanting to do because the old programs are not working. All we know is we're feeling a lot of pain in our body and it's not feeling right to us or good to us. And we're wanting to shift that. But the truth is, if we want to shift that, we've got to be in a space where one, our physical needs are taken care of. Um, and then we can get into like our emotional needs, which can be a luxury. For some people don't have that luxury. So if you're in a space where you can start working on your emotional and mental healing, that's really beautiful. And we just need more safe spaces out there of people that can do that. So I want to dive in and I want to talk about that. I felt like I've been good at holding space for people around me, and it's something like with my spouse, I'll go to him of when I have hard things coming up, and I want to share things with him. And there's times when I'm let him know that, okay, like I could use a little bit more help in this area from you. And I've noticed that sometimes he'll get defensive and kind of, I feel like, put it back on me, like, well, I'm doing good in all these other areas and all these things. And I'm like, have the story of, oh, he's just not he's not the best space holder. I'm like, so I guess I can't go to him with my needs. Do I go to somebody else? Do I work on it myself? I'm, trying to figure out how to do that. And yeah, so I'm trying to just figure out, like, how do you do that? Because I know a lot of other people go through that as well. They feel like they're a good space holder with their family, with their kids, with their spouse, and those around them, and those close to them are not. And so they're silently suffering alone without the support that they need. So what do we do with that? Do we leave the person? Do we ask for what we need? What do we do? So I want to just ask Rain, who's just beautiful at just coming up with beautiful answers and shifts of perspective. So, Rain, I want to ask you, how do you feel is the best way for this holding space, and what does that mean?
Oh, Mel, yeah, this is a big one just because holding space now has become a terminology. So everyone's using holding space, holding space. I really highly doubt a lot of people really know what that actually means. Interestingly enough, as you were talking, because me and Mel have discussed this on the side, but now something new is showing up, which is holding space is more of a trauma response, as in it seems to have come from a space of, well, nobody hears me or sees me, so let me hear them and see them in hopes that they can learn how to see me and hear me. And so when the word or the term came of holding space, it made perfect sense. It's like, oh, if I'm really silent and I let this person speak for as long as they want and share, and I don't take it upon myself and I don't defend myself and I don't argue my point, and they're released, finally, I'll have the freedom to share my version, my part in this, and in hopes that they will get to do the same thing for me. So it's like a teaching. So it's like we're trying to teach our friends, our partners, our spouses how to do the thing that we truly desire to be done for us. So in a way, we do it for others so that we can have that in return. Part of it is that. Part of it is because humans in general are, it's about us, It's like, how can I be as comfortable as I want to be? Like, why I don't want to walk on eggshells and I don't want to feel discomfort. And so a lot of times we do things to self-serve, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's actually key. But if I know it's because I'm self-serving, I'll do it differently. If I know that I'm doing this because I want someone to learn something, or I'm trying to teach someone, or this will make me comfortable afterwards, then the intention is so clear for me why I am really holding space, right? And therefore, when the result doesn't come out that way, then I'm like, okay, this practice doesn't work for me. There's another way to do it. Okay, that means that this is not working in my behalf. I cannot teach someone else how to do or replicate me. And so I feel deeply like once I have the intention very clear, I really know why I'm holding space. So sometimes we hold space, and I have done this a million times. It's not like, oh, I've never done this. No, I've done this, right? Where I'm holding space for someone because I want to teach them how to do that with me, or I'm holding space because I want them to think, what a great person or what a great listener. There's something that I need to receive from doing that. But then it's painful because I don't actually get the outcome I've planned out for it to be. Right. So now it's the other person's fault. Um, so that's one aspect of holding space. So just for clarity purposes, like I think all of us need to be really clear when we're about to do something. And especially if it's things that now we just kind of parrot to ourselves. And it's like assuming, like saying something but not understanding the depth of it, and then expecting it from others, but they don't even understand what that looks like, and I don't understand what that looks like. And so nobody's understanding what that looks like, and we're doing this thing, but the truth is I want you to hear me and see me. And when it's my turn to speak, I need you to be completely quiet, right? And listen to me. It's the truth, right? So if we can actually just say that instead of holding space, it'll clear up a whole bunch of things, because not everybody knows what holding space means, right? And sometimes there's a lot of empaths that can't hold space traditionally because they're receiving, because holding space gives people permission to just be gunky and victimhood. And holding space in a way also means I'm about to be really negative about life. I'm about to come and blame you. I'm about to throw my gunk out. And are you ready to receive all this? And a lot of empaths are not ready to receive that and don't want to receive it. They're like, it's coming. I don't want to be here. Right. So we are also shifting where we're like, some of us can't hold space anymore. I personally, when it's outside of private sessions, do my best not to hold space for others. I can't energetically, because holding space means they're coming to dump their crap. And now I have to figure it out energetically within myself. Right. So I don't hold space. I choose not to do that anymore because it's not benefiting me in any form, and it's not benefiting the other person. That's me. But to go a little bit further, Mel, with this, and to go back to what we discussed, is the fact that a lot of times person doesn't actually want to hold space, like we just explained. It isn't really holding space. When you're asking someone to hold space for you, to hold space for you, to hold space for you, what you're truly asking for is, could you please respect me? Could you just respect me? Could you respect me when I speak? Could you not brush me off? Could I be important enough? I'm sick of walking on eggshells. I'm sick of touching base with your energetic field to know when it's appropriate and when it isn't. And of course, this is childhood trauma, right? That's playing out in your now. But in general, it's like, could you please just respect me when I speak, when I voice? Because it's not so easy. When I finally have the courage to come and like unravel myself in front of you and like get out my vulnerabilities and speak my truth, and which is scary because in my memory, it's always been rejected. I need you to respect the fact that I came to do this. I need to be held differently. I need to be seen through courage and not through, oh, there she goes again. Or I'm not in the mood, or I can't, I don't have space for you. So maybe instead of using the word holding space, it's best to feel like, well, I'd like to feel respected by others when I am speaking, for others to pay attention to what I am saying, right? That I am important enough to them. Now, that's also very hard to do because everyone, almost everyone, is in their head. And almost everyone is doing the thing in the head. right? Busy speaking or trying to like find an answer or trying to defend themselves. Like so we're all not listening anyway, right? So when I'm saying hold space for me, as somebody could hold space where they're sitting, but they're daydreaming and they're thinking other things. Like sometimes what we do with our kids, they're like, Mommy, did you hear me? Yes. And then we say the last word that they used. You said crayons. You want to use your crayons, right? But we didn't hear the whole thing, right? Same kind of thing, right? So we are still are those children that if someone's like hold space or you're like, when will they stop? When will this end? Right? And you're kind of numbing out life. And so maybe a different word to use is I need to feel respected when I'm speaking. I feel disrespected this way, right? I to be heard and to be seen makes me feel loved. Okay, makes me feel appreciated, makes me feel seen by you, and you are an important person in my life, right? And when that doesn't happen, I start to unravel. And yes, it's not your place to take care of my unraveling. However, this is a technique that will help me find my ground so I can take care of me again. So I need a partner who can just hear me and see me when I need to be heard and seen. Right now, respect also comes within. So self-respect is very, very important. So a lot of times, the fact that we want to hold space for someone else so that we can be heard, I'm not respecting myself. Full stop. There's no self-respect here, right? I don't think I'm important enough to share what I need to share until this person empties out. Then I may become important enough. And that doesn't happen. People never empty out. And when they empty out, they're exhausted and sleepy and they're not in the mood to hear somebody else, right? They're done, right? They have no space. So I am not respecting who I am. I'm not respecting my value. Honestly, we're not even listening to ourselves. Like when I have a version of me showing up and speaking to me, I will disrespect that version. So I will tell that version, stop it. You're being too negative. Oh, there you go. Angry again. Oh, nobody ever listens to you. Right. So the way I speak to me is disrespectful. Right. Naturally, that will be the mirror image of my world. I will be receiving that on the outside world. So even before telling someone this is what I need, this is what why I expect, it's trying to notice the words within that are so disrespectful inside. I've had so many of these words, and because I'm a reflector, I still hear them from a lot of people. So it really sucks because no matter what I do, they're just there all the time. But I hear those words, and those words are so judgmental. You're not supposed to be this, and you're not supposed to be that, and you should smile less, and you should be tougher here. And you know what? Today, speak up. You got to speak up. No, now you hold it in. Oh, what's wrong with you? It's as if there's like this thin rope that you're tightrope that you're supposed to balance between right and wrong, and you're always wrong. And you're always wrong. So between you and you, you're always wrong. You've done it wrong, all in it because the person reacted that way. Now, what if there's a different way? Like if I think I would like to learn how to respect myself between me and me. Like if I can respect myself, that means I'm holding space for myself, right? I'm giving myself the space and the freedom to feel what I feel and respect it regardless. Not try to fix it and reprimand it and oh, you should have talked less. You should have talked more. Maybe you should speak up. Oh, what is wrong with you? It's more of like, oh my God, this is what's happening. I'm giving it space. I'm holding space now. Okay. To respect this version of me that is speaking, whether it's 2-year-olds, 5-year-old, 10-year-old, God, it could be a 40-year-old version of you. Whatever, whoever that is here, and I am respecting its presence. And it's allowed to just exist. And once I respect me, what happens is my tolerance for shitty behavior is so down because now I know how to do it with me. So it's acceptable for anyone on this planet to treat me any less than how I treat me or any more than I treat me. So nobody can be nicer to me than me, and nobody can be worse to me than me. So if I'm really bad with myself, someone's going to be as bad. And if I'm really nice to myself, someone's going to be as nice. That's what self-love actually looks like. So If I can respect how I feel today, I feel gunky and horrible. And then the thoughts come, oh, but you're so lazy and now you're going to do nothing with your life and blah, 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 da, da, da. Recognize that and be like, I'm so disrespecting that I'm just feeling tired. I'm so disrespecting me. How can I expect anyone else to respect me? So, more than holding space, it's self respect. Self respect, even beyond anything else. Because if somebody cannot respect me, I will not be interested to teach them how to respect me. It won't even matter. I am not, in general, what we all want to do is teach people who they need to be around us. Okay. But we haven't put in the effort of how to teach ourselves how to be around ourselves. So we're busy going out. You should be, you should act. And when I do, you should do this. And when I say this, you're supposed to be this person, and then they always fail. They will always fail. Always. Right? Because now I am simply dependent on this being to make me feel respected. And so therefore I will fluctuate. The day he does listen or she listens or anyone listens and gives us what we want, it worked. And then goes down. Didn't work. Okay, work, didn't work. Now, who are you? You are just completely in fluctuation with another person's energetic field, their thoughts, their history, their trauma, and you're picking on that and you are reacting to that. But self respect looks completely different. Self respect gives a kind of confidence. If someone doesn't want to listen to me, they will never get the privilege to hear me. Never. Because I have more fun listening to me. I have other peeps that actually respect how I feel, I speak. And it's not in a revengeful way. It's in a very peaceful way of like, it's really strange how this person doesn't see my value. It's just crazy because you feel it so much that they're the crazy for not listening. And in time, when that becomes your reality, what happens is the people around you start to change. It's not because you told them how to change, it's because you changed. So now they're in this new reality of a more confident, self-assured person, somebody who respects themselves so much. The version of them that is respectful will appear. It'll just have to, you know, but it's not through the trying. Is this making sense, Mel?
Yes, it's so beautiful. And just the way you word it is like perfection. It just like hits me in a deeper space that I was like, oh my gosh, that just feels like so much truth to me. And you had recently mentioned that because this had come up and you had said the word respect, and I've just been sitting with it. And I'm like, you are so right. And then realizing, like, oh, why do I keep attracting these different people in my life that I feel like don't hold space for me or listen to me, or reality, it is respecting me. Like when I have concerns or I'm hurting, I've reached out to some people close to me, and some of it had been some friends kind of in the past where it was like I think I realized the feeling and I was able to let it go. But some people I've kept around longer, I'm like, I'm just trying to say, gosh, I'm really hurting from this last conversation we had, and kind of just want to talk about it. And then having person be like disrespectful to me back, and it's just really, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really realize it's a lot of like me disrespecting me. So that's huge when you say that. And then the ripple where, oh my gosh, this has happened so much as I've made shifts in my life. And people say that over and over again. You can't change the people around you. You just can't. They're not going to. You have to be willing to break the cycles and change within. And this one, I was like, oh my gosh, I could see in all the ways I disrespected myself over and over again. And I was like, okay, like I'm going to practice this. Like I'm really working hard to break this cycle. And it takes like practicing it. And the past several days I'd been in this like heavy space of like sitting with all of this, like kind of like trying to rewire my brain, the neural pathways in my brain of like, I've never thought of this before. I've never tried this before. I've never sat with myself like this before. And so like I was feeling like my gunky feelings and just feeling sad. And, I feel like I've just been like the glue for so long of my family and my world. Like ever since I was little, I really felt like I put so much extra energy into keeping everything together, just feeling like I needed to, or getting the little dopamine fix of people around me. Oh, Melinda, you're such a good girl. Teachers, oh, you're such a good student. Okay, I'm going to get straight A's by myself without anybody asking me. And I did. And, you know, never got in the way, and just I just fed into like being the good girl and trying to be perfect in every area with everyone in my life. And I've continued to do that in my relationship too. And I'm starting to realize like, oh, I'm getting tired. I'm getting really worn out. I'm getting really exhausted. I'm like, I'm just tired. And like my eyes are heavy by 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I see everyone around me that gets less sleep than me. And I'm like, they seem to be functioning fine. Like, what is the deal? And I really do feel like things are created energetically first. And then if we don't take care of the energetic needs, it manifests physically with physical pains or issues. So I'm like stepping back, really seeing, oh my gosh, I think the reason I get so tired is because emotionally I'm carrying a lot and no one put it on me. Like I'm taking full accountability of like, I chose to pick it up. I chose to carry everybody's stuff. And that was my limiting belief of feeling like to be loved, I had to. And so I'm trying to rewire all of that. And it's a lot. And I have to look at every relationship in my life to look at that. And so with my spouse, I was just realizing like I'm like, I have no more fight in me. I have no more fight to argue or anything. Like I'm just gonna go quiet. If we start to get in a little argument or disagreement, I'm just like, I can't even respond. Or if I respond and I get something not nice back that's I feel like respectful, I'm just like stepping away. And so the other night I was like, my husband like said he'd like hold me and I'm like leaning against him. I'm just like, I just need to be held. And he was just really sweet. And I started to open up like I was so scared to death to do, of saying something like, I starting to feel hurt from someone close to me. And then the truth is I opened up to you about that. And then you kind of hurt me in the same way, like not holding space or listening or respecting or whatever. And I noticed him starting to disconnect. He let go of his arms that were like his head went back and I heard a sigh. And then he started to let go of his arms around me. And what I normally would have done was just gone quiet and just felt completely like gutted, like so hurt. Like, this is exactly what I'm saying. Like, I share one tiny thing of just a resemblance of how I felt a little hurt by you responding a certain way the other day. And then I'm like, he can't even handle that, where he's completely disconnecting from me. And I was just feeling like that hurt again. And normally I would have shut down. But this time I did something different. While I was in my hurt, I said, and this is what I'm talking about. When I'm saying something where I'm hurting, rather than you disconnect, I need you just to like hold me in my pain and put your arms around me and just love me through this still. And he put his arms back around me and he held me. And it changed the whole energy in me. It's like all of a sudden I was like, this is just what I need. And I let go of everything before. I don't need to bring up the past again. I don't need to carry this story, use it for beating myself up or him or anything. It's literally just like, no, right now, I really need you. I'm like scared. I'm hurting. I don't know. Like, and then this is relating to my childhood. It's bringing up stuff with my mom. And I'm like, I just need to be held. And like, so I asked for it in like a loving way in that moment. Rather than shutting down, I asked for it. And he did it and he showed up. And it was like, okay, like that's what I need. And that's the truth, is I'm like, I need someone to be able to be there in my weak moments. Because guess what? I'm easy to love. Everyone's easy to love when you're just nice and you're doing everything for everyone. Like, of course, you can have great relationships. If that's the only way you allow yourself to show up. And the truth was, I was so disrespecting myself. That was the only version of myself that I would put on. And I'm saying I'm 42 years old. I've been doing this my whole life. Like this, I just noticed this by our conversation last week. And I immediately tested it and tried it with the situation that happened with my spouse, who I love. And I'm like, okay, this person showed up. And I had tested out on someone close to me, a friend before, and she disconnected and pulled away. And so the truth is, it's not like people always change. There's some people out there that are not willing to look and respect somebody else and their needs. And those people, we have to be willing to let them go. And it's hard. It's really hard when it's people close to you. And I think that's why I didn't want to put it to the test, because I was afraid that I would lose these people, that I was willing to like keep them while disrespecting myself and my needs and my tolerance. Now that I see it, what's happening, I'm like, oh, hell no. I can't do this anymore. And again, like you said, like my tolerance is so low that I'm like, I don't care if it's my spouse who I've been married for almost 20 years, who I love and adore. I will let him go. I will let anybody go, my closest friends, parents, everyone. If they cannot hold that little respect and hold me when I'm hurting, that just seems like basic humanity to me. And the truth is, there's a lot of people that aren't in a space where they're ready and can do that. They're not able to receive themselves, which means they can't give it back. And so that's what I've learned, at least for me, that feels right to me, is I don't want those people in my life anymore. But until I was able to see this and face it and change my wording and how I feel and recognize what it is, and it is different. It's not the holding space. That isn't the issue with people around me. It's the respect. And I deserve that respect. I'm not asking too much. All it is when I'm hurting and sad, please just hold me in my pain. And if it has something to do with our relationship, please be willing just to talk about it kindly. And I'm willing to take accountability for maybe a way where I rubbed you wrong, but I need you to be willing to admit that you did something that rubbed me wrong. There's the flip side of the coin. There's always a heads and a tails. And I just need both sides to be able to take accountability that they're human and they're going to cause pain. Like, can we just say that? Can we just get used to saying, hey, I'm sorry, I hurt you? Can we just do a role play back and forth to like get it out of our system? Because somewhere we're trying to prove that we're right all the time, that we're never wrong, that we're never going to hurt the ones we love. And then the fact we spend so much energy trying to get defensive to try to tell them they're wrong, that we hurt them, that they don't realize they're damaging the relationship enough where it's going to kill it if they can't just open up and like see what's happening and just listen to the other person for a few minutes. So anyways, that's just a personal example of what I went through recently, and I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
It's such a real example, Mel. It's so potent. It's got a heartbeat. It's so alive. It's wonderful. And just for everybody else to know out there, it doesn't it doesn't always pan out that way. So it really is dependent on you and who you're with. I just want to make sure, because a lot of people are married to toxic people, and just know that you don't have to put yourself in that position all the time. You can try it out once, twice, three times and see how it goes. But this cannot be your lifestyle, because it was my lifestyle. It was completely my lifestyle. I wanted to be heard and I wanted that companionship so desperately, right? That I would just keep going after the person and being like, but listen to me, I just sat for an hour listening to you and helping you with your work and doing this and promoting this for you and taking care of the house and doing all this. And now I need to be heard. But I was like obsessively dying for it. So I was exaggerated. So I would walk after him and just be like, and then we'd fight and argue. And there were times at the beginning of the relationship where he was really kind and he would give me that space, but I would feel it was a pleasantry. I wasn't really that interested in what I have to say. He was just like, okay, let me give her what she wants so she can back off. And there's a different energy. You can feel the difference between someone who truly is like, oh my God, I didn't even know I was doing this. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Or, oh God, I wish she would just go away. I'll give her what she wants. And they are two different energies. Now, the other one would bug the hell out of me. So, and I would then be like, oh God, I have to teach him. I'm like, you must feel it with your heart. Like, imagine trying to tell someone how to do it. When I speak, you must hear it from your heart. If you have something to say it from here. And it was, to him, just didn't make sense. It was just, he's like, first of all, I don't want to hear it. Second of all, I'm being forced and I'm hostage right now to listen to your feelings. I didn't ask you to listen to mine so that in return, I get to hear yours. Right. So there was all this disgusting stuff happening until one day, finally, years later, I'm like, oh my God, why do I care so much? If he heard me and understood me and could take care of me. And then I thought, that's why I chose to marry him. See, this was part of the reason that I chose to marry this person, because this is what they offered me at the beginning. They were there when I was in pain, when I was getting over my first marriage, and I loved the way they just held me and listened to me and took care of me and bought me little gifts to make me feel better. So I thought this would be forever, right? So I kept going back to, well, it was like this. Why did you change on me? It was like this, and trying to bring him back to, or then I wouldn't have chosen him. That was the main reason I chose him, for this quality trait he had, right? Which wasn't a real trait that he actually had, but it's something that so it was very hard to let go there's a lot of argument inside, as in, but he was this way, he's got to be this way. And it's called the love bombing phase in this scenario, right? The love bombing phase. And so what I learned in a very hard way is, if someone isn't interested to hear what you have to say, if you've explained it at least 3 times, because I would explain it and he'd look like he gets it. Look like he gets it, right? And then, but it would be something that he would hold against me later. Like when I go and be like, you don't listen. Be like, well, we just sat 2 days ago and I heard you. Like there was a notebook of all the times he's done this. And I was like, but right now, this is how I'm feeling. I'm speaking. He's like, yeah, but not every time. So it became like, oh, there are times, there are not times. But what I did learn, truthfully, after 3 times, I clearly expressed to somebody who I am, what I need, how I like to be treated. And they try and they fail. I don't pursue that anymore. It is not something that I can teach somebody to do. I had to learn it the really hard way. It was whips and chains, right? It was my ego everywhere. It was my sensitivity. I was broken. I was hurt. I needed somebody to love me. But I learned that even now with friendships, I've lost millions of friends. I mean, I had friends all over the world, so many, because one day I woke up and discovered nobody listens. When I'm in pain, nobody listens. So what actually happened is today I'm like, I can't teach anyone to listen. But when I'm in pain, can I hear me? And can there be at least 1 or 2 people in my life that are good listeners? You know, and that's all I'll need. And if I ever choose to marry again, it's got to be somebody truly kind and authentic and at a different level. Because as you grow and you start to respect yourself a lot more, you start to honor who you are. There is less of you that wants to teach others anything because it goes nowhere. So the more practice we work on ourselves, of just hearing ourselves, respecting our pain, respecting our joy. Sometimes it was even, and I know Mel understands this. I know you get this, Mel. When we are happy, how many of us, we talk about sadness a lot, but when you are really happy, when you're in that happy mood and you're putting the music on and you're just feeling so on top of the world, and your partner or a friend or whatever comes and like oops all over it, lower the music, no, the mood, oh, I'm just gonna put my, and you want to come into this action, right? So it also happens in that direction where like your joy is damper down. And it's coming to understand that the only reason it would damp me down is because the more the merrier was in my head. But I was the more and I was the merrier. And as the more I disattached from needing that person to join me in all spaces, I was able to actually attract people who can enjoy these spaces with me whenever I wanted to have people there, and not necessarily depend on ones who I have to teach. Like I would go on this music and fun, and isn't it nice to uplift the energy? But yeah, so it goes both ways, in both ways, either bringing anybody in, trying to change anybody, trying to talk them into anything, to become something else doesn't work. It really, really, anything, it depletes the energy so much that you end up feeling like a victim. And it really, really hurts. It hurts.
I'm so glad you brought that up because this is something just the other day I had mentioned to you of like, well, hey, like maybe I'm just because I thought like, okay, like I usually have this high, good energy, but I'm like, I realize I notice in myself, Rain, that like when other people are down, I go down and I match their energy, and I'm like, oh, is that me? And I really was questioning. I'm like, is this me just giving my power away? Do I just give my power away this easily? Would it work better if I just do? I just need to stay in my energy. Maybe that will help raise them up and bring them up. And then you gave this perfect example of like, well, think about it. Like, I love your examples. If like a toddler is throwing a fit and they're sad and they're upset, you have to go down to their level to be able to pick them up. And so you have to, like, you can't just stay up and then all of a sudden they're going to, always figured out, like a lot of times when they're in that space, they need that assistance or help. And so if you go to pick them up and you're like, imagine if it's an adult, how hard that's going to be to go try to pick them up. And so you do go down to that level. So the truth is, we do got to be mindful, because part of me, like, I take so much accountability of, like, because I see both sides, and I'm just like, oh, if someone's not being nice to me, it's because they're just in their pain or their own wounds. And so I just let it go and I brush it under the rug. And I realize, gosh, I'm really actually teaching those people around me, close to me, that they can be really shitty to me. And I'm just going to drop it and let it go. And so recently I've been recognizing, like, no, like, that's not fair for me. Like, I don't want to stay in a relationship with someone unless they can come back to me and actually address the issue that we had before. Hey, I'm really sorry that, like, the last time we talked, I was in a bad space and I was not nice to you. And I was rude and I put my fears and projected them on you. I'm really sorry about that. Will you forgive me? I really want to have a relationship with you. So what I've realized, I've had to cut some people off because the last interaction we had was, they were really not nice to me and they put all their stuff on me. When I was talking kindly to them, they were not talking kindly to me. And it was easy because these were people in my life that were like newer friends, that I was like, okay, that's easy, just let it go, whatever. But, and I don't like to burn bridges with anyone and I don't carry stuff, but the truth is, I can't move forward with someone unless they can be mature adult and be respectful and address what the issue was. I don't want to be friends with anyone. So I'm very clear, like, no, you're going to have to come. You can't just give me some treat or give me something to just brush it under the rug. Like, that has to be addressed, because those are the people that I want in my life. I need people, because I found some people can't say they're sorry, and they can never admit that they were wrong or that they hurt somebody. And I realize, like, at least right now where I'm at, that's what I need to maintain a friendship and relationship. And so, anyways, I
You
just
know,
loved your.
Mel, you said something really, really cool. You said push it under the rug, push what they did under the rug. What's actually happening, what I kept hearing is, no, it was her, it's me, all of us. We're pushing under the rug
Yeah.
because you're hurting. When they say that, you're hurting. And you're like, no, no, it's fine. They're hurting. So now it's all about them. But where did you go? You went under the rug. Like you brushed your feelings under the rug and gave them excuses for their bad behavior, but you didn't give excuses for you, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I totally relate. It's
And
like all
that's
of a sudden
the
I don't matter at all.
thing that you're talking about, respect. It goes to, I disrespect myself.
Yeah.
And so that just hit me where I'm like, oh, I have been so disrespectful of myself. And I justify it. I justify it as like, oh, but because I'm wise, or I'm a medicine woman, or I'm a healer, or I'm a this. And so I do that. I'm so great. And it's like, wear it as a badge of honor. And then it's like, how horrible I am to myself. So yeah, if you were to have a conversation with me of like, well, okay, you treat all these people so great, you hold space, you're respectful, do you do the same with you? And if I was to be like, not lie to myself, that's another thing I've learned. Wow, I sure lie to myself a lot. I sure make excuses about how horrible it's okay that I treat myself. But now I'm like, just owning it. I'm like, oh geez, okay. And I'm sitting with it. And it's like, and I think that's why I've been so heavy, because it's like, oh my gosh, I have been putting this on myself and carrying this for so long. Like, that's probably why by 8 o'clock, my eyes are like half closed. It's because of the emotional weight that I carry all day to try to give everything to everyone else and overextend myself till I'm completely depleted. And I'm like, I would have so much more to give. I would have so much more energy if I could actually just take care of me in those moments. Like, whoa, I'm just excited to expand with myself, because this is all new. This is all brand new for me. And I'm just like being vulnerable and real about what I've been experiencing, because I know others feel the same way. And it's time for us to be real and authentic and vulnerable about what's going on. And let's just talk about it. We're humans. For those willing to talk about it, obviously, this is going to repel some people that are so far from this. They're like, oh, hell no, I don't have any problems. It is just them. I already know all this stuff. Like, I'm going to be very clear. I'm never going to know everything. Like, I always want to be a student. I want to be a student and a teacher. And everyone in my life that I surround myself with, I just want them to be in the same place, and we can learn from each other and grow from each other. I don't ever want to give more than I'm receiving. I don't want to receive more than I'm giving. Like, I want to find those people that it's this flow. And it can be different points in our life. It's not like an exchange where it's like, oh, I just gave you that, now you need to give it back. Like, none of that. But just overall in the relationship, I want to feel that there's this safety here and this mutual learning and growth, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And it's impossible to find if it's not within. It really is. Like I was so against all the find it within first. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to find it within. I want to find it without, so that I can find it within. But I couldn't find it without. It didn't, And when my moods are fine, I find all these lovely people. When my moods are crap thing, I was like, oh, thank you, Source, for showing me exactly how this works. It's all upside down. And it's crazy. But yeah, Mel, 100% agree. Yes. Just be who we are as often as we can. And we
Yeah.
can't know who we are unless we tap into who we are. So disrespecting self is disrespecting self. It has nothing to do with holding space.
Yeah.
Nothing at all to do with holding space. Actually, I wish people would stop using that word holding space because I remember I went to so many things like women's circles here and shamanic, I don't know what, and da da da. And everyone's like, now we're gonna hold space. And when that happens for me energetically, when we would hold space or hold hands to hold space for whatever it is, that energy, good or bad, I was feeling so intensely. So I would have to remove my arms down because I didn't want it to go through me. I wanted to go past me. Right. So sometimes holding space or doing that container thing is not the best. For some people, it really works well. For others, it doesn't. So if there's a lingo that's being used in the world now that sounds really nice, contemplate it with self first. Does it work for me? You know, what does it mean to me? What does it mean about me? What does this thing mean? What does holding space actually mean? Where does my energy go? If I am holding space for someone, where's their energy? Where is it going? Is it going inside of me as I hold space? Is it going, where is it going? Is this something I want to do to begin with? Like you decipher it because for somebody else, they really know what they're doing. And for someone else, it's like, yuck. Like I can't in a group of people when we meditate ever send my roots down to the earth, grab onto earth energy and all of us connect. I'm doomed. I will feel everyone and I can't get out of it. So I don't even get into these meditations. Now, most of the world does it, but you have to know you. You have to experiment with you. It's very important, people, to experiment with yourself. As much as we are the same in our suffering and our pain and this life experience and life journey. We are also extremely unique in how we move forward in this life and how our bodies each react. We don't react the same way. So change holding space. Maybe use respect. Maybe that's what you really, really want. If you really, really know what you want, and when you ask for it, you're asking because you really, really know what it is. You can't be like asking someone to hold space for you, but you don't know what that contains. Are they yawning and sleeping? You know? Are they holding space angrily? What is it? Well, holding space for me means respect. I want to be respected when I speak,
Yes,
when
I
I
love that.
feel,
And
right?
even breaking that down more within the respect is what is it exactly that you need? Like the example, I love I have an example to pull from where I didn't really before because I didn't have this figured out. But when for me the respect was specifically like with my spouse, I need you. That respect to me was I need you when I say how I'm feeling, if you like starting to disconnect, please just put your arms back around me and hold me. So even then, just saying I need you to respect me, other people's definitions of respect could even be different. So it's like it's literally just communication, communicating very clear exactly what you need in that moment without the resentment and the anger, with just the truth of how you feel like, hey, I'm really hurting right now. And please just put your arms back around me. I need you just to hold me. And then see if they're capable of doing that. Or like you said, if you start to see like they just refuse and they can't do it, well, those are signs that you're going to want to know too. And I was like starting to say before, like I used to think like, oh, I just have to, I'm so good at doing all these things, and I was disrespecting myself. But we've got to realize like the people around us, they do affect us. The people around us affect us and affect our energy. And it doesn't matter. I used to think I just need to do more work. Oh, if I'm going to them for validation or needing them, oh, well, they actually don't need to. Like, I just need to validate myself. So I kept putting everything on me that I need to do everything. But the truth is, as a human, when I do get hurt or sad, or I'm low on food or sleep, I'm in my I'm on my lower, like, I'm not as capable as I normally am in the day. And in those moments, that's when I need somebody. I want to be able to say, hey, can you please hold me right now? Like in that moment, normally I can hold myself. I don't need my husband to hold me. It's like, whatever. But when I'm sad, when I'm down, I need to know that those people can show up for me when I'm in my worst, my lowest, my childlike triggered space or whatever it is. That's when I need to be held. And the truth is, some people can't do that. So that's what I'm the point here trying to make is respect yourself by specifically saying what you need before it builds into resentment. In the moment when you're sad or you're hurting, you say, can you please do this? And say that. Say, I'm hurting right now, or I'm scared, or I don't feel like an adult. I feel like a child. Will you please hold me, my child self? Like, say that and let them know, because a lot of times when people know how we're feeling, they do want to show up for us and they are able. So let's, before we leave our partners or spouses or friends, give them a chance, because there's a lot of people I feel like they don't ever figure out how to communicate respectfully to the other person, and they do it in like a negative attacking way, and they keep saying that person can't hear me. And part of it could be true because some people don't, but give those people a chance. Practice in your current relationships, with your kids, your everyone. Just practice, how does it feel to respect myself, to speak my truth in a good way, and then see how they respond. And like you said, try it 2 or 3 times. If that person doesn't figure it out, be okay with realizing you might need to let them go as a friend, as a partner, as whatever it is, that they're not willing to be teachable, because you can't, like you said, can't just, I'm, I don't know, people have to choose into it or not choose into it. And so just know the people around you influence you and your energy, and don't put all the blame on you, because a lot of people do that, and that's not fair. That's disrespecting yourself. Let's stop that.
Yes, yes, exactly. I completely agree. Self-disrespect. So yeah, put yourself up on the pedestal also. No one deserves to be on the pedestal but you, honestly. And that's not being arrogant or narcissistic. Narcissists don't put themselves on the pedestal. They put their ego on the pedestal. We're asking to put yourself on the pedestal. Yourself meaning the essence of you, that gentle, kind, loving you. Put that on the pedestal. That's the one that's loving the world. That's the one that's compassionate. Put her or him on the pedestal, you know, that version of you there, in high regards. Like, look at this. Look at that. Because narcissists don't think I am fantastic and so sweet and kind and compassionate. I'm so this and I'm so that, and I can control and manipulate. It's a different thing, which we can discuss at another time. The different kinds of egos and what self-love and selfish actually is. But yeah, put that lovely, beautiful soul of yours up on a pedestal. Your higher self. Put it on a pedestal and love it a little bit.
Mm,
Yeah.
I love that. Wow, this was
Yeah.
beautiful. Well, I think I've completed everything that I want to share on this topic, because I'm keeping it on topic. Is there anything else that you want to share before we wrap up?
Oh, I think this went beautifully, actually, and so much fun. I hope everyone else enjoyed this. And God, I can't wait to read all your comments. I think we're really excited to hear your stories, your comments. Like, do you understand? Did this make sense? Did it not? Did you get your own insights or own downloads? God, we'd love to read your comments and your insights. Yeah, we want to integrate as many people as possible into this. So I'm
Yes.
good so far, Mel. Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because, and I'm going to probably share this every time because we mean it from the bottom of our hearts. We are connecting on this deep, vulnerable, authentic level, me and Rain, and then we're just hitting record and then we're sharing it because we feel like other people are going to want to hear this too. It's just beautiful shifts of perspective and gold nuggets. And but we want you guys to be a part of this as well. And so please comment on this. And the truth is that helps, like the algorithm, when there's more comments. If you comment just even a heart or like, or ask some questions, or say like, oh my gosh, I never thought about this before, well, I'm kind of confused on this thing, like please give me more insight or information. Like, please connect with us and know that we want to rise with you guys and expand with you as well. So join us on this journey. It makes it more fun um, for us to do this together. So please, yeah, comment and subscribe. That helps us as well, helps us grow. And we want to just keep growing and getting out there into new audiences that need to hear this and want to hear this. And new thing that we're really excited about is we just set up an account for, it's called Buy Me a Coffee, and it will just help us keep growing. It's a way that you can just donate as little or as much as that you want to donate. If you're loving the information that we're sharing and you're finding value and a benefit in this, if you just want to donate, so we can just keep growing, because we do have a bunch of expenses to kind of keep this podcast going, um, and then we want to just keep improving everything as well, and just have it be like this equal exchange of energy. So anyways, you can find that link on just the description wherever you're viewing this from, so you can check that out. And yeah, we just looking forward to see you on the next episode.
If you've got any questions, please, if you would like us to respond to your questions, to give you insights, to go deep into your energy, leave your questions at the bottom and we will address them. We will address your questions and the podcast will be about your question. So, okay.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad you added that. I about
Yeah.
missed it. Okay, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us.